Hey guys, I had a ton of questions yesterday on letter E from the homework. So here it is. Let's go through it together. I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can solve this one and a possible way to do your check as well. So watch as much of it as you find helpful. All right, let's take a look at one way to solve this problem. We're still going to begin with our line down the center just to separate the left and the right and to remind us what we do on one side we have to do to the other. But now we've got a couple things we can look at here. We know that we need to get our x's all on one side and then our other numbers, and in this case they're integers, all on the opposite side. It doesn't matter if our x's end up over on the left side or on the right side, we just need them together. So obviously right now we've got one on the left and one on the right. Or actually we have negative one on the left and one on the right. So I'm going to go in and put a 1 there in front of them just as a reminder, because sometimes that visual helps see that this is a negative 1x and this is a 1x, okay? So one way to approach this is I could add x to both sides. And when I do that, it looks like this. So I'm going to do plus 1x. So we have plus x and plus x. And when I do that, what I have now is on the left, this negative x plus x is going to cancel. And so I just have 1 equals, and then here I've got 1x plus 1x, and that's going to give me a 2x. And then I just bring down that plus 21. Okay, this one looks a little bit more manageable now, right? So I have my x's all on one side. Now I need to get rid of the numbers that are on the same side as that x. So I have to get rid of plus 21. How do I do that? Well, subtract 21. Right? That's the inverse of addition, or the opposite of addition is subtraction. Got to be careful with your subtracting here. You got to remember your integer rules. If we have 1 and we're subtracting 21, we're going to end up negative, right? This is like 1 plus negative 21, which gives us negative 20. Here, I'll draw that line if that helps, equals 2x. And now our final step to get x all by itself is we have to undo that multiplication by dividing. And so instead of multiplying x by 2, we divide x by 2. And if we do it to the right side, we must do it to the left side. And what we're left with is x and negative 10. So x equals negative 10. I'll show a check for this at the end of the other 2 methods. All right, this is the same problem again, but I'm just going to approach it a little bit differently, because I know some of you, when you were starting this, you wanted to subtract x from both sides first. So we can do that. That works, okay? That's going to eliminate the x's from the right-hand side of my equation, and it will leave me with a negative 2x plus 1 over on the left-hand side and 21 over on the right-hand side. And if another way, guys, remember, you can do this as a negative 1x and a negative 1x. And if you do negative 1x minus 1x, you get a negative 2x. So again, those integer rules are really helpful if we know them by now. Okay, and then we can subtract 1 from both sides. And we'll have negative 2x equals 20. Make sure we brought that negative down with. That's important and an oftentimes forgotten step. And then we have to get x by itself, so we have to divide by negative 2, not just 2, negative 2, because that will leave us with a positive x. So x equals 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. And so we'll still get to the same answer, just a little bit different way. And yet a third way to solve this one that I was working with people on yesterday, some people wanted to do the same question by subtracting 1 first. So they took 1 off of both sides, and now they have negative x equals x plus 20. And then they were like, hey, let's add x to both sides. So if we do that, which again, we can, but we kind of run into this problem here, because on the right-hand side we have x plus x, that's 2x. And then we have plus 20. But what do we have over here now? If we had a negative x, and then we added an x, those are going to cancel out, right? So I have to put 0 here. So I have a new equation. It says 0 equals 2x plus 20. but I didn't succeed in getting all my x's on one side and all my integers on the other side. So we still have to keep going with this because we have this plus 20 over here with our x's. So to undo the adding 20, we subtract 20 on both sides. And now this looks more familiar with what we were doing before. Now we have negative 20 equals 2x. We can divide both sides by 2, and we'll end up with negative 10 equals x, or you can rewrite it if you like, x equals negative 10. And again, it's going to check just like the other ones, but we just got there in a little bit different way. So we figured out 3 different ways of showing that x equals negative 10, but now it's time to do our check for it. Sometimes people get this far and then they get stuck. So let's look at our check. Remember, when we do a check, what we want to do is go in and replace all of our x's with whatever we got for our answer. Okay, so what I just did here is I rewrote the equation, and I'm going to plug in negative 10 in place of each of my x's. Okay, and something that's a little unique in this problem is that we've got a negative x at the beginning, right? You can also think of this as the opposite of x. And the reason I say that is it may be helpful to think of it that way as we are simplifying our check here. So if we have a opposite of negative 10 or a minus negative 10, or add the opposite, there's kind of lots of ways you can look at this. Either way, the opposite of negative 10 is just a positive 10. Positive 10 plus 1 is going to give me 11 over on the left-hand side. Let's see if we get the same thing on the right. If we do, we know our answer was correct. Negative 10 plus 21 is 11, and our left side equals our right side. And when that happens, we know that our answer was correct. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, that's pretty awesome. And just a reminder, I'll be on at 1 o'clock today for help with this, and any other time by email. So tune in. We'll go through some equations together as a group. And even if you don't want to participate, just tune in and watch. So it'd be good to see as many of you there as possible. Check your email. Check Schoology inbox for the invite. Take care. Miss you guys.